And I would just add one other thing. When it comes to judging our teachers and how much our kids are performing, basing it on growth during that period of time that they actually have them for instruction is a much fairer measuring tool than arbitrary cutoff scores. So I appreciate you focusing on that. Thank you.
Of course, one question: when teachers see this data that does it get them frustrated, or are they able to work through their learning curve?
Yes. So I think a little bit of what Dr. Moyer said is true. Like in my experience, teachers are much more willing to have conversations around this data because it's about the students who are in front of them. And it's not just some arbitrary scores, right? But I do think it's eye-opening. Like for example, this fake teacher I put together for you. Like if you were a teacher, if this was your data and you were really looking last year to grow those low kids, you can pat yourself on the back because whatever you were doing, keep doing that. But look what happened. Your highest achieving students slipped. So now we need to have a conversation about what are you doing to challenge those. Keep doing what you're doing for our struggling students, but now what layer are we going to put in to make sure that we're challenging and continuing to grow our highest achieving students? So that's just an example, but that's a discussion that can have a real impact on what teaching and learning looks like in that teacher's classroom.
Absolutely. I like the idea of how it's put together, and then with iRating coming in,
oh yeah,
we get because the data that we put in is the data that we get out, so we need to have the best data in.
And that's important too, I think, for a teacher not to feel defensive about a single data point, but when you have multiple data points that all tell a similar story, it's much easier to put your full face.
It's not one-sided, too.
Right, exactly.
Thank you.
More action. Sure, you're very welcome.
I was just going to ask you that, for those who don't know, how often is the data input into the school?
Well, with this specific thing, it's based off of last year's PSA. So, it's based on that. But it's historical. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
But if you bring in the iRating and all,
sure,
it will be more
that
than
keeps data fresh as we go.
It will keep it fresh, or it
No, I'm just saying I'm sorry. No, you're not. It just, not for PFAS. I'm just saying we are constantly getting iRating data that we can act on and use. It's not like it's constantly being uploaded to this system. But
good. Thank you. All right. Mr. Moran?
All right, so just really want to focus on 4 areas in relation to Alloway Career ACEs, some really positive things that have been occurring over the last few weeks and will occur over the next couple of weeks until we meet again. So our pumpkin paces is the connection back to our race red. If you remember me talking about that last year in the spring, we made a conscious decision to move that event to the fall. And so we've retitled it Pumpkin Paces instead of Race Red. So that's been a tremendous success this year with raising funds. And again, remember, part of the purpose of that committee is raising funds to help our students in regards to field trips and other learning activities for our students. So doing anything that's connected to those directly back to our students. Our original goal was to raise $15,000, but I'm really happy to report that we raised $20,000, $718.50. So over $20,000. So really, as you can see, we really exceeded that number. And I really want to give a shout out to Jen Myers, and it's not just Jen. Jen's just the leader of that committee, the third grade teachers. But we have representatives from each grade level that is part of that committee, and the work that they do is just phenomenal. A really big thank you, I want to also say on that, goes out to our student, staff, and families of the community. They continue to step up and continue to support our educational opportunities and advancing the activities associated with our school district. And I can't say enough about the community for what they do for us. On Friday's event, it was really an opportunity for the students, parents, staff, administration to come together. We're engaging in meaningful events, such as competing in relay races against other classes, fun activities that are station-driven on the field, students an opportunity to walk and run around the stadium. That's part of the fundraising component to that, cheering on each other with, from a grade level perspective, and then creating some very awesome pumpkins. And I don't know if you've had an opportunity to see that through the weekend. Some of those are still being placed on the outside of the stadium. But students and staff came, or students and families came together to create pumpkins centered around 4 categories. And those 4 categories was around school spirit, a fall theme, the most creative pumpkin, and also connected it back to our reading piece of storybook character. And we had a total of about 145 pumpkins that was created from our students and our families, and we were really proud of that number. And it was just phenomenal to see. I know some of that's being put out on their live stream, and some of those areas, but again, just phenomenal work by all. As we continue to focus at the elementary level, our focus continues to be on reading and exposing the students to it as a core focus for us. Tonight, I'm asking the school board to approve 2 different donations of books for our students to have exposure to. Those partnerships with different organizational groups is key to supporting our students, staff, and families in the pursuit of reading and becoming lifelong learners. The Thunderbolt Foundation and the Story Walk has been a great example of this that we recently completed, and that's going to be a phenomenal piece that we go on each year for us to use in meaningful ways. Just tonight, a little emphasis, the first set of books are being made and donated by Miss Melissa Deeds, the educational chair of the South Mountain Audubon Society. Just really emphasize all these books center on animals, and the book's new structure brings 3 to 7. However, I want you to keep in mind some of our older students need reading materials and support that support their above grade level reading skills. Even though we're just K-5, we do have students that are at a 6th grade or a 7th grade reading level, so it's important for us to support those students as well. It goes back to Ms. Miller's point about what are we doing to help support our most advanced kids, or are we helping them continue to become stronger? These books will be kept in our library with the state's direction. The second set of books is from a local author within our community, Ms. Libby Trossel. She's authored the book, The Adventures of Shining Hope. Shining Hope visits Niagara Falls. So again, this book is a part of an ongoing series by the author. Students in the 2nd grade will be the recipient of this donation. It gets approved tonight. And this again creates another opportunity for students and families to engage in reading. We can't stress the importance of that enough. I want to shift now a quick focus to Dr. Naylor and Mr. Lorenz. We're starting to reconnect back to some safety things associated, so that continues to be at the forefront of what we do with the ACES team. Next week, we'll be conducting an internal tabletop exercise with students and staff on various emergency situations that they may encounter throughout the school year. The focus is on how to respond and plan for evacuating the building, staying put inside the classroom, think of shelter in place, accounting for students and staff, communication protocols, and so on. This is an ongoing exercise that's practiced on a regular basis in our building. We take that information, we analyze it, we take the feedback from all the stakeholders that are associated with that, and we look to continue to improve the procedures. So we're excited about that as we continue to go forward. And finally tonight, I just want to talk a little bit about our fire assessment. Again, something that has been alluded to by my colleagues. Our 5th grade students did complete this last week. We're currently working on the data analysis of that information. I just want you to remember the assessment is science-based and connected to the new science, technology, and engineering, environmental literacy, and sustainability standards set forth by the state. This group of students, 5th grade, 8th grade, and then those that have moved to a high school group, this will be the first group that will officially take the skills SSA/Keystone assessments in the spring. Part of this process has been the alignment and collaboration from the elementary, middle, and high school. So again, just like to say a shout out to the middle school staff, the high school staff, and the elementary staff, teachers that have been part of that. Again, bringing all 3 buildings together, sort of for common calls academically with their students. And a special shout out to Brett Powell, high school physics teacher, who's been at the forefront of that and is a teacher leader with us and working through that. His work with sort of bringing all 3 buildings together has been phenomenal. And I know I speak for our 5th grade teachers, it's been a tremendous help for us. for it. And again, we're going to have a meeting next week to debrief some of that analysis of that information and how that can continue to drive our instructional practices as we move forward through the school year. I think that would conclude my report. Questions?
Mr. Moran, this fields test, this is something new?
It's the PSSA test. The state
Reformulated?
made a commitment to go to the skills science standards. They could pilot the information in the last couple of years as far as making the transition, as part of that, the transition. This year will be the official first year that it's actually testing on the school again. Last year there was a pilot school, students were not, so the staff, teachers are not held accountable to the test, a pilot testing information last year.
So these scores are not going to be official because it's a new test?
No, this year it will be.
Oh, it will be.
Last year it was not.
Okay.
Because the PSSA used to be fourth grade, and then last year, those kids took it fourth grade, but when they became fifth graders last year, they moved to a pilot with the new, so their PSSA had already been accounted for. So this year's fifth graders will be the first group that actually takes the test.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Green? At this time, board leadership and the superintendent are going to take a brief recess to discuss city policy. So we'll be right back.
Y'all are party to the whole lawsuit, so y'all should vote on whether you want to be part of the Sunshine Act challenge.
I'm glad you did it. On the said what came, what left, what came back, and what's here now. That was a good start.
To the reception,
That was a good start.
pictures.
There's many hours that.
I finally figured it out.
Sorry.
No.
Visuals come to me.
I started working on our data.
I'm a visual guy. I like to bring up
Board is reconvened. We now recognize members of the public who are signed up to provide comment as stipulated in policy 903. When your name is called, please approach the podium and state your name. Confirm you are a resident or taxpayer of the district with your topic of discussion for the record. Please direct your comments to the board as a whole, not to an individual. We ask that you limit your comments to 5 minutes or less. The privilege to speak may be interrupted, revoked, or a recess of the meeting may be called by the chair if the speaker does not observe reasonable decorum over the conduct. Thank you. Ms. Johnson, question for you. Is there a reason why you will not provide your phone number as required on the
I'm saying that my phone number is not available, 1. 2, per the Sunshine Act, you cannot establish rules that are not necessary. This is from Section 710, because I want to make sure that you all are aware of your Sunshine Act obligations, which you should be since you're under lawsuit for it. But nothing in this chapter shall prohibit the agency, this is from Section 710 of the Sunshine Act, from adopting rules that are necessary for the conduct of its meetings and maintenance of order. The rules and regulations shall not be made to violate the intent of this chapter. Specifically, the intent of the chapter that's in question here is in Section 710.
I've read the statute. Thank you.
That says you must be, let me finish my Sunshine Act challenge,
You
please.
haven't
Because,
made it,
okay, well, it's a Sunshine Act challenge,
okay.
if I did not make that clear.
Sure. Well,
Are you going to allow me to, oh, okay.
I'm trying to just have it.
And I'm
dialogue. We're just
trying to let you know that the,
To get to the bottom of why you won't provide.
okay, and can I finish my thought on the phone number then? And not a Sunshine Act challenge, the phone number is not related to residency. That's why I was willing to provide the address, but the phone number, which is not necessarily
You gave us your phone
available.
number last week.
So then why are you
What's
requiring it
changed since
again?
last week?
Maybe that phone number is no longer in service, 1. And 2, if you already
Is it
have
no
my
longer in
phone number,
service?
if you already have, that's not relevant. If you already have my phone number, why are you asking for it again?
So.
It doesn't have anything to do with
We're going to
residency.
take the matter under advisement with the solicitor. We are going to permit you to speak tonight.
Okay.
But going forward, I would just ask that you please be respectful of the rules.
I am respectful of rules that meet the law. I ask you to meet the law.
I would ask that you be respectful of the rules and going forward, the form will be required to be.
Your rules are not above the law.
If you wish to make public comment, go ahead.
Okay, let me make sure to not have my public comment interrupted this time for your illegal blocking of my camera. Because that was very rude to interrupt my comment. My name is Suzanne Johnson, and as a district parent, taxpayer, and voter, I will continue to stand up for students, teachers, and taxpayers such as myself. Unfortunately, this has led to me filing a lawsuit after this district has refused repeated attempts to comply with open government laws. Contrary to their claims of commitment to transparency, this board has violated the First Amendment and the Sunshine Act with their limitations on public comments and recording of meetings. Despite being aware of their obligation under the Sunshine Act to only enforce rules that are necessary to conduct their meetings and maintain order, everyone watched as Nick Lavelle, Dr. Moyer, and the school solicitors violated my rights last week by threatening to remove me with law enforcement or security from this meeting, simply for wearing and recording a body camera that did not disrupt the meeting or interfere with participation in or observation of the meeting by other attendees. Therefore, it was not necessary. On November 4th, residents need to vote to end the abuses of power and the chaos on this school board that has resulted in 2 superintendent and 4 school board resignations in 2 years. Lovell's unchecked power with a board full of political loyalists is not what's best for our students, teachers, or taxpayers. Although Lovell's term isn't over, voters have the opportunity to limit his power grab by saying no to his closest allies, Ewan, Ressler, and Yerger. They must be held accountable for their intolerable behavior and their voting records, not their empty campaign promises. Our